So hello everyone, this is Priyanshu Gupta here. I welcome you all to my channel. So in this video what we are going to implement is we are going to implement this list view to display all the products in the e-commerce website. Then we will use a detail view to implement this detail view for displaying each record with all the details here. Then what we will do is we will implement this add to cart functionality. Like I click on this add to cart, it will add this product to my cart page, and in this video we will going to be making a login based cart system. So basically this is not going to be implemented when the user is not logged in. It's necessary for a user to be logged in if he wants to use the cart, but if you want to make a non-login based cart system, then you can easily implement that using cookies, local storage or Django sessions, and then just convert it into a login based cart system as soon as the user log in on your system. Then we will be using a update view to implement this functionality to update this quantity field here. Like currently the quantity is 1, and then if I write a 6 here to update the quantity of this record, then click on this button update quantity, then it will update the quantity here as 6. See, now the quantity has been changed to 6. And if you want to delete this record from cart, like if you want to remove this product from the cart, then what you have to do is click on this delete button, and as soon as I click on this button, it will remove it from my cart. And now my cart is empty, so it will display a message here, the empty cart. So this is all the things we are going to implement this in this video. So basically I have used these scenarios so that I can show you how to implement list view, detail view, update view and delete view in our Django project. So basically we will be using a class based view, and in some views I will be showing you how you can implement using a function based view as well, so that you can understand how class based view work. So basically this is my first video in English, and those who are new to my channel, I want to tell you that we have started a series called Mastering Django on our channel, and this is going to be the 19th video of our series. Earlier 18 videos I had made in Hindi, so you can check out that on my channel. Actually what has happened is, like, many people told me to make videos in English so that it is accessible to more and more people, because they have found some content which was not easily available on internet. So that's why I've tried to make this video in English. And if you support this video and tell me in comment section box that how you like the content in the way I presented you in this video, if you support this video, what I will do is, like, I will continue making videos in English, and also what I will do is I will make a long marathon videos respective to each playlist that I have made on my channel. You can check out my channel. I have made 3 playlists till now regarding AWS. One is about web security and one is Mastering Django. What I will do is I will make a long marathon videos respective to each playlist, in which I will be covering each and every topic from scratch again. So even if you don't know Hindi, you can access the content. Though this time I wanted to create a video regarding OTP verification in Django, but what happened is, like, I made the video, but after making the video I found out that there are more ways possible to implement OTP verification in Django. So I found them later on, so I wanted to cover them as well in my video. So that's why I didn't upload the video, because I even made it. I completed the video, but then because I tried to cover each and every test case possible and each and every scenario possible, so you will be getting the video very soon. And also what else I have promised, like what I have mentioned on my Instagram story, that the upcoming videos, so you will be getting them all. So in that, one was this only, like list view, detail view, update view and delete view. So without wasting time, let's get started. So let's start with this list view to display all the products on our e-commerce website. So let's uncomment this and let's open list view on ccbb.co.uk, in which we have some hints and how a class based view works. All the things are defined here, so we can take a help from here. So basically this is our view, and I have already imported this list view from here, and now it has certain attributes. Now let's see, and this is the way how you can use a class based view in your Django project. So what you have to do is first open this ccbb.co.uk and take help from here. So what you have to do is, like, focus on all those attributes and functions that that looks similar or resemble to something you want to add a functionality in your Django project. Okay, now let's see what is the correct flow. However, I have already explained like template view and other views how you have to take help from here and implement this in your Django project. But let's see here again so that it comes in your practice. So we have to focus on certain things, like here we have to list out all the products in database, like we have to take all the records from database and display on the front side. Okay, so we will pass all the products in a context data so that it can be displayed in the template which we are rendering in front end. So here we have to include something like template name. Okay, so here I have not made a template yet, so when we will make, we will add here. Then we want a query set. Then we want a model. And let's try once this. Okay, if this didn't work, then we will see what we can add more. So what we want is, we want a model here. So here we have made a model here in models.py file, and that is a product. Okay, so we want this product. So model, in model I will write product, but we have not imported this product yet, so we will add this from first step.models import. So please don't focus on this OTP model because I will be showing this in another video, so don't focus on here. So I will add here product, and I also add one more model, that is product in cart, that we will be using later on. Okay, so here product, in query set we add product dot objects dot all, and template name I make template first app. Okay, so basically this is our seller view. So what we do is, we will use this in first app because first app is focused on customer and seller is for our seller. Okay, so here we will add, and let's see if we have imported the product here or not. From dot models import product in cart. So here we will add a template name. So we will add a template called first app slash list products.html, and let's see if this works before query set or not. So here in templates I will add one more template, that is list products.html, and here I will copy some basic template that we want. So from login I will add this in my list products.html file, and here I will remove all this form because we don't want this, and we don't want the styling and at all. So here this is our register form, this also we don't want. We can add a styling over here, dot main area. In main area I will add a padding left of 20 pixels and padding right 20 pixels, and background color equals to white. And here what I will do is, like, I will be using this template tags of Django for showing the products on our page. I will be using the bootstrap card view. So basically we will be using these cards here. So I have opened the bootstrap. Here in components card section I will be using this because we want a equal height cards, and we want a wrapping, so that when we reduce the screen size, it automatically gets wrapped. So I copy this, and here I will be pressing this. So basically what we want is, we want this here, and we want only one, so that we can loop. Okay, so we will loop this. And for I, for product in, and from this context object name, you can even change the name of the context. Like here the product is passed, but if you want this product to something else, like you want to change this name with which you will access that in a template, you can change using a context object name. So I will be using here, and we will use it later on if we want, in list products. For product in product, what I want is, because in models we have added a product ID, product name and price. Okay, so product name here, product name, and here we can add some product details as well, but but till now we have not included this in our Django project. Like in models.py we have only two fields now, like price and product name, so we will not be adding this. What we can do is just add a price here, product.price, and let's do it, control save, and let's see how it looks. So also we have to add a URLs in url.py, the endpoint. So we will be adding a endpoint in our urls.py. So I will be adding here path list products views dot list, and the view is list products, and name equals to list products only. Okay, let's do it, control save, and here we run the server. Invalid syntax. Okay, we have to provide a list view is not defined. We have to import a list view here, update view, delete view, detail view. Control save. Let's go to www.wondershop.in, because we have used a subdomain here. But if you don't have this subdomain, what you can do is directly go to 127. Okay, but we have a subdomain here, which I've shown you how to implement this using Django subdomains in one of my video. You can check out that as well. Now we will go to list products. So basically this is a type error here. Okay, we have to do a .as view here, and let's remove this query set from here, because I think it's not required for list view, because it directly takes all the products that we have mentioned in the model here. Because what it do is, like, it go in database, and from this product model it imports all the records in product model and directly displays in the front end. Okay, so here if I refresh this page, here we are getting nothing. Let's see that we have something in products page or not. Like in product model we have some record or not. We go to admin panel, and here in products page, let's see we have something or not, and we have one. So I think let's use this context object name, because this is a product that we have used in list products.html file for product in product. Or you can use a I or any variable here. Okay, like suppose I do a I, so you have to replace this product from here to I and I. And here if I refresh this, see a card is coming over here with a game, because I have not added an image here, so that's why image is not coming here, but there is a name with game and the price is here. Okay, so let's add some more products over here. I add products like Nike shoes, price is 4,000, save. And also I have upgraded my Django from version 3.0.0.5 to 3.1, because I think that's why I've got a sidebar over here, a side navigation bar, which looks good. And also you might feel some error like CSS error. So if you upgrade from any lower version of Django to 3.1, so what will happen is something a blank list or something like that will come over here in a normal display mode. So what you have to do is like clear the cache of your browser and then again try to refresh the server. Your CSS will work fine. Because I faced that problem, so I searched on Stack Overflow, and there I found out the solution as well. Okay, and I will add some more products here. So next product is BlackBerry suit, and the price is 8,000, and save. I will add one more product here, that is Puma jacket, and the price will be 5,000, and save. So let's refresh here and see more products has been arrived here. So now if we inspect and reduce the size, so see here currently there are 3 and 1, and when we reduce the screen size, then it will come in one row. Okay, so basically this is a card view as set by, like suppose I want the 4 cards in one row, then what I have to do is I have to set this calls MD4, and let's see what will happen here. So now I have 4 cards here, like 4 cards of equal length, okay, of equal width I've got here. We have to remove this form here, and let's add one more div here, like div product cards, and let's end this div here. I want a background color of this here in background, so I will copy this color here. The background color is, so background color is this. I want this color only in background. And also if I provide some padding here, then it will look more clean. Yes, now it's looking more clean. So now it's cool, it's looking good. Now what we will do is we will add one more button here, like add to cart, so that we can add the add to cart functionality. But before that, what we want is like on clicking this heading of product name, we want to display a product detail page. Okay, for product detail page we will be using this view, that is detail view. And also first I will show you how you can implement using this in a function based view. So what we will do is define list products request, then what you can do is product equals to product dot objects dot all return render, then request, then template name slash list products.html, and here you have to mention the context data, so that you will pass in dictionary. So here you will pass in product, and here in product what you have retrieved here, and it's the same function that you are providing here. So basically the functionality of this class based view and this function based view is same. Okay, control save, and here in urls.py you have to change, like I will comment this one, and here I will copy this path, and here instead of this we will write list product and control save, list products here S, and here if I refresh this, it will work same. See, it is working as same. Okay, so these are providing us same functionality, so you can do it with a class based view or a function based view as well. So now I will comment this and we will focus on a class based view only. So I will comment this and here I will uncomment this. Okay, and here in views, control save. So now what we will do is, like in this heading we will make this a link, so that when we click on this it will open a new page. Okay, it will open new page. We will write this product detail view now, and in product detail I have inherited this class, that is detail view, and let's open detail view in ccb.co.uk. so let's open that. We have to go to home page, and here we have a detail view. So we'll click on that, and here you have to select. So let's add attributes here. First add a model. Okay, we will use a model here, model attribute. In model we have to mention the model name, that is product. Then we will add the template name. So template name is first app slash product detail dot html, and here we will write a context object name product here. Okay, so basically this product now refers to a single product, but here product refers to a query set of all the products here. Okay, so basically here product contains a lot of products, like all the product records in our database, but here it corresponds to a specific product that we pass the primary key of it in the URL. So what we have to do is in urls.py, so basically in detail view it is necessary to add a primary key in a URL so that we can uniquely identify that product. Okay, so basically this detail view works on that only, like you have to pass a primary key in URL, like the ID, record ID, okay, of the model in attribute in URL, so that Django backend can find that unique record from database using that ID, because it's ID only that is unique, because it's treated as a primary key in a Django model. So with that we can filter out from the database. So in urls.py we will add one more endpoint here. So let's add an endpoint here. So here it's a product detail and views dot, it's a product detail. And control save, and in templates we will add one more template here, that is product detail dot html, and here I will copy again. First control copy product detail, and here instead of this I will copy something from Bootstrap that suits our scenario. In our basic template that we have used, there is something like this. So basically we want this type of something, so we will copy this scenario here. We will copy this HTML and CSS here and place in our detail view. Okay, so we will copy this from our index.html file here, and code corresponding to that is inspect, and here it is. So basically the code starts from here, div class row feature it, and here it is. We want this, and if we place this in our product detail.html file, it will look like this. And in urls.py also we have to mention separately, like we will pass the int primary key, because the type of primary key is int, because we are using a integer primary key here, like 1 2 3 4 5. So we will be passing a primary key here. So see here, I've got something like this. And let's beautify this using HTML template here, format document, then again Django template, control save, and then refresh this page. And see here, you can see this. We do not want this span. What we want, a simple heading of product. So product dot product name, and here I will add the price. So now if we refresh, see here we have got the product name as game and 500 is price. So here we can also add a rupees, and if we reduce the size here, it will come like this. Yeah, it's cool. So I want this image on the left hand side. So what we can do is we can move this. Yeah, now it's looking cool, right? So we have made this detail view as well. So here you can add the product image, and here the name, and here the price. Now if you want to display a static image over here as well, then what you can do is, for displaying static images, you have to configure settings.py file as well. And I have made a very detailed video regarding handling static files and media files of Django and how to use S3 bucket as well. You can check out that video in my AWS series, in which I have covered each and everything about static files and media files, so that you don't have to look anywhere else. So that's a perfect video. I will not explain here how to render, how I will not explain how the static files and media files work in Django. So here what I will do is I will directly implement that. So in models.py files, first we will add the image file. So here image models.image field, upload to first app / product images, default none, null equals to true, blank equals to true. Control save, and here you have to add some more folder. So I will write here static and static cdn, and in settings.py file, and in settings.py you have to configure the static settings here, static file settings. So I will directly copy paste here, and if you want to have a more detailed explanation of this, you have to check out my video that I have already mentioned you, and link of that video I will provide you in the description box, or I will add an I button here at the top, so you can access from there. Also in urls.py you have to add something. So let's add this in projects urls.py file, which is first project. In urls.py file I will add some static URLs here. So this is how you have to configure the static files here. Now control save. Now let's add one image here. So I will search one image here. So let's search Nike shoes, and to remove that copyright, what you can do is I will choose a filter here, license, free to modify, share and use commercially. So just randomly select one shoe pair here. Let's select, 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 let I have to install one module, that is pip install pillow. Let's run the server now, and now refresh. Now in products, I've got one more image field, no such column. Okay, so I have to apply here python manage.py make migrations, added field image to product. Okay, now python manage.py migrate. Now let's run server, and now refresh, and now in Nike shoes I will upload the image. I will choose the file here, and on desktop I will choose this Nike shoes, and let's save this, and it's saved. So if I open this Nike shoes here, you will see a file here, okay, that got stored in first step / product images, and this is the URL here. So if I go to my project here, this is how it got stored, because we have mentioned in models.py that it will be stored in first step / product images, and this is how it got stored in media folder first step, and then the image got stored. So basically I've used this first step so that we can distinguish between different apps, so that images can be distinguished between different apps. Okay, so let's see why it's not retrieving here, why we are not able to retrieve here. So currently we are not, because we are using Django subdomains and we are not using this urls.py, our first project. What we will do is we will copy this and place it in this, okay, and we will place it in our first app.urls.py, because this is only because we are using Django subdomains, okay, only because of that. Let's see if it works or not. Settings is not configured, so we have to copy this in urls.py, place it here, and this is just because we are using Django subdomains. But if you are not using Django subdomains directly, you can add this settings.debug URL patterns plus in your projects settings in your projects urls.py file, okay. But currently we are not using that url.py, which I have already explained you in Django subdomains video, which you can check out that in my channel. So if I refresh this now, let's see if it's work. Yes, it's working perfectly. And let's see if it's work here or not. Yes, it's working here also. So now what we will do is we will add this in our product detail, okay. And if we go to list products here we will add the image field also. So for that what we have to do is we have to mention the path here, first app templates and list products.html file. You have to first mention here the link, that it's a link here, a href. You have to provide the link for detail view, okay, detail view of that. So what we will do is we can use our dynamic URL here, URL, and if you want to specify a URL with subdomains as well, I will show you that here also. So basically if I have to use if I have to mention a subdomain here as well, then what I have to do is I have to go to this Django hosts documentation, and here it's mentioned that you can use a host as here, like in your template you can add a URL like this host. You have to use a load host template tag here, so I have to use this template tag. I will use this template tag here at the top, Control V. And there is one also a substitute to this Django host library, and that is Django subdomains. You can check out that library as well. So basically it's a substitute for this library of Django hosts for deploying your apps of Django project on different subdomains, okay. So here if I use a host Okay, let's see now if it's working or not. So basically you will have to use a host URL here instead of URL, and if you want to override this functionality of host URL, then you can do this as mentioned here. Override this URL tag. You can click on this link and check out this. If you want to use a URL only instead of host URL, then you can check out this override the URL tag. Okay, so currently I am using a host URL here only, host URL, and it's working fine. So now if I press Control save here and check out this and refresh, then it's working. Now if I click on Nike shoes, then it's working. Then if I click on game, it's working. And also display, let's display our image over here. So for adding an image, I will add card image, image source. So image source is basically i.image. Here you have to mention a path here, so it is media / control save. Let's see now if it's work or not. And yes, it's working now. See, the image has been arrived here. So similarly you can set the width and height of image as well to set it at default. So now if I click on Nike shoes, then to display image over here, then you have to do the same thing here, like image source. In that you have to mention this source path. So here in list products, I have mentioned in product detail page, I have to mention the SVG. So here we are not using SVG, so we can remove that, and just we can use directly a image source for that. So we'll copy that and place it here, and image source product.image, and let's see how it comes. And the image has arrived here, so it's looking cool. So I think we have added the list product and product detail functionality here. So let's add the more functionalities here, like of adding to cart and updating the cart. Let's add those functionality here as well. So let's add first the buttons here for clicking on add to cart here. So for that you have to add the button here. Let's add the button. So we'll check out the buttons with the link here. Okay, so this is the link button. Okay, link button. So here we have to choose this and place here, and here we will add to cart, and let's control save and see. Yeah, it's looking good. So here we have got the card with a button to it, add to cart. So we have to choose here button primary, so btn primary, and margin is 10 px. So now let's refresh, and here we have got the button with a proper margin here. So now what we have to do is make this add to cart button functional. So let's proceed further. So similarly, as I have put the image for the shoes earlier, I have put the image for other objects as well. So now it's looking good. So now I have also put a detailed view here, like for on clicking Nike shoes. So a display will be shown here, and I have also added the button called add to cart. But now we have to add the functionality of this button, so that as soon as we click this button, this object, this product gets added to our cart. Okay, but now what we are making is we are making a login based cart system, like a user must be logged in before adding the product to the cart. So now we are not making a non-login based cart system. If you say so, if you ask me to make it, tell me in the comment section box. I will make a video regarding the adding to a cart system if a user is not logged in, because that is very easy. You can easily implement that using Django sessions or local storage or cookies. So using that you can easily implement the non-login based cart system, and as soon as the user logins, then you can directly convert that non-login based cart system into login based cart system. So now we are making a login based cart system. So for implementing that functionality, like on clicking the add to cart button, we have added a view here which is called add to cart, and I have used a function based view here because there is a lot of customization here, so which would be difficult in a class based view. That's why I made a function based view here, add to cart, and I have used a login require. This is a decorator for making this view accessible to only those who are logged in. So if you are using a class based view, then you have to use a login required mixin, and if you are using a function based view, then you have to use a decorator called login required. So this is the difference between class based view and function based view, for which is accessible only to a login user. So we have implemented that here. Now what we have to do is, as soon as the person clicks on this add to cart button, and what I have done is, on add to cart button, like in list products.html file, what I have done is I have made a button here and I have added a href URL to that, so that it makes a get request to this URL, which is add to cart, and also I have added a ID, that is i.product ID, which will be different for every product. So this button has different product ID, this button has different product ID in href, so that we can call a different type of URL at each request, so that Django can uniquely identify that record from database. Actually what is happening is, in this view add to cart, we have to uniquely identify that particular record, like particular product from this, so that we can add this particular item, to the cart. So to uniquely identify from database, we have to mention the primary key for that record. So product ID is a primary key for that, and as you already know, primary key will always be unique for each product. So that's why we have added this, and in urls.py we have added a endpoint called add to cart, in which I have added a integer field for ID, so that we can pass that in URL as well. So this is how you have to add this here, add to cart, and like we pass the URL in product detail, like we pass the primary key in the product detail endpoint. So similarly we have added this here. So now what we will do is, we will uniquely identify that product. So first we will find out that the cart for that login user exists or not, because once the cart is created for a person or a customer, then there is no need to create a separate record, because what we have done is, we have made a one-to-one field from cart model, as I show you here. In cart model we have a one-to-one field to custom user. So for particular user, only one cart record can exist. Okay, so that's why we don't have to create a separate record for cart. What we will do is, we just create the cart for the first time he hits the add to cart button, and then we will just add those items, new items which he wants to put in cart, and remove them if he wants to delete them from cart system. So proceeding further, we will run a try except block here. So if the cart object does not exist, then what we will do is, we will create a cart object here, and then what we will do is, we will find a product respective to that product ID that we have passed in the URL, and then we will make a record in product in cart table, in which we link it to the cart record that we have created now. So this is the cart record that we have created now. So we will link that through here. We will put the cart equals to cart, then product equals to product, and quantity equals to 1, because we have not specified here the quantity field. So as soon as he clicks the add to cart, we will just add the one quantity. Okay, and then we will pass the messages.success to show a pop-up message, alert message, that it has been successfully added to the cart, and then we will redirect him to the display cart page. So display cart is basically, this is the class which I have used here. So display cart is nothing but, it has a list view, which I have already explained you, which contains all the records of products in the product in cart table respective to that user, or respective to the cart of the user which he has made. So all the products will be shown there which are contained in the cart of a user. So basically I have overridden this function here, get query set, in which I have mentioned product in cart.objects.filter cart equals to self.request.user.cart. It means I want to display the records of product in cart table, or only those which are added by that user. Okay, so proceeding further, this is the way we have handled if the cart record does not exist, but if it exists then it moves here. So we will again filter out that product from database through that unique primary key. Then what we will do is we will find out that with that product ID, okay, with that unique product ID, the product already exists in the cart of that user or not. If it exists, then what we will do is we will just increase the quantity value of that product in cart. Like I have mentioned here, like if it exists in product in cart table of and respective to that user, like respective to that cart, because cart will be unique to a person. So what we will do is we will filter that product in cart record which contains the cart and the product ID. Okay, if it's same, what we will do is we will just increase that quantity field of product in cart record by 1, and if it's not there, then what we will do is we will create a separate record in the product in cart table by using attributes like cart equals to cart, product equals to product, and quantity equals to 1, and then we will render the response. Okay, we will redirect him to the display cart. So let's run this, how it functions. So let's refresh this page and let's add to cart. So suppose I add this, so suppose my cart does not exist now. Okay, my cart does not exist, and currently I have logged in with email ID a@gmail.com. So as soon as I press this button add to cart, so I am pressing add to cart for the first time as a user. So now as I press this button, see the cart page has been opened with a successful pop-up message. So I cross it, and if I go to this page and refresh it, then you can see a new record has been generated here. And if I click on this, then you can show product in carts table here also. So these are the products which I have added. So currently the game is there with the quantity 1. So basically I have shown this on admin panel using tabular inline. You can check out my video, that is Django admin panel, so on my channel, so in which I have explained how to customize this Django admin panel fully. So this is how it looks like. Now what I will do is I will, and if I add this product again to the cart system, then what will happen is it will just increase the value by 2. Instead of creating a separate record here in cart, what it does is it just increase the quantity of that record in our table. So this is how it works. And now if I click on add to cart for this product, then it creates a separate record with a quantity of 1. So this is how our add to cart function works. So we are able to implement this add to cart. And also what I have done is, if we click on this game, when we display the detailed view of this product, then I have also added a button here, add to cart, with the same functionality as on a list display of products. So now even if I click on this button here, it will do the same functionality because it is calling the same endpoint, that is this add to cart, and it will be functioning as same, and it will render us the cart display view. So now we will proceed further. Now if you want to update this record field, like suppose if you want to update this quantity, then how to update it? Like suppose I enter here 2 and click on update quantity button, then it will update my quantity to 2. And if I update this quantity to 10, then if I click on this button, then my quantity will be updated to 10. So how this functionality can be added? So basically you can just implement a function based view here, but to show the functionality of update view here, like the view which is provided by the Django, so that's why I have used update view here, but it will be more complex for this type of simple situation. So what you can do is just use a simple function based view and just extract from database by mentioning the ID here in href of this button, and then uniquely identifying that record, and then just updating the quantity field respective to that record. But what I have done is I have used a update view here to show you the implementation of this update view, which can be used in a complex situations. So for that, what I have done is I have mentioned a model here. So if you want to see the functionality of this update view, Like if you want to understand this wholly and want to implement it from scratch, what you can do is you can go to this ccbb.co.uk and go to its update view here, which is in generic edit. In update view you will get the all the attributes here. So basically I am using a form request here in my Django project, which is here in display cart page. What I am doing is I am using a form here. This is the form for sending the update request to update the quantity field. So here what I am doing is I am displaying a form here. So it's a customized form. I am not rendering it from backend. Okay. But what happens is if I use a view, update view here and mention a template here like template name, then what will happen is if I make a get request to this particular endpoint of update cart, then what will happen is it will render me a form on this template. But currently I am not using it for get request because I want to add this form on this display cart page only, which is a list view. So I have not used a get request of this update cart view. So I'm not using a template name here. I'm just using its post functionality. Okay, post request functionality. So basically if I use a simple HTML form, then the only possible methods for sending a request are get or post. So basically I can use only two request methods, that are get or post. But if you are making a API or making a AJAX call, then what you can do is you can also use a put or patch request, which are generally used for making a update request to backend. But since our simple HTML forms doesn't support a put or patch request, so we have to make a simple post request here. So this is the form here which I have rendered here in display cart. This is the form for making update request. So basically I have used a ID quantity and quantity field because I have to match with the forms.py, because I have to match the fields which should be rendered by default by a form when we are using a form view or something like that. So I have made a form here which is a cart form here, in which I have used a model form and I have mentioned a model which is product in cart, and I have used a field called quantity only because I want to update the quantity field only, not other fields as well. Because in product in cart we have other fields as well, which are product, quantity, product in cart. So what I want is I am just displaying a input field of quantity in front end, which can be edited by the user or the customer which is using that. So I'm not giving permissions to customer to change other fields as well. I just want this field to be changed by the user. So that's why I'm mentioning the fields. In fields I'm mentioning only the quantity field, and this quantity field will be rendered in front end. And since I'm not using a default update view get request, I am rendering this form by myself on this different view, like different template display cart.html file. That's why I added this ID and name with the default value, because if you change this, then it will not be read by this update view. So that's why I recommended you to use a function based view here, because it will work more fine here. But since to show you the functionality of update view, I have handled the situation in such a way. So I have mentioned the model here, I have mentioned the form class here, which is cart form. I have also mentioned a success URL, because if a post request is successful, then it will land you to this page, to this endpoint, which is display cart. So what I have done is in define post, I have called first the super.post method, because if you go to a update view here, then the first method that is called is as view, and in as view we call the method called dispatch, and in dispatch it calls the respective function to that request. So we are making a post request here, so that's why a post request will be made. But if you are using an AJAX, then you can also use a put request as well. So post request will also work fine here. Like in base update view, it will call self.get object and then process form view, in which all the validation and other stuff will be going on. Okay, so I am calling this response equals to super.post to call this post method of that inherited class, that is update view. And when the response is generated, I will check the status code equals to 302, because I want to add some more validation here. Because if the quantity is 0, then what we have to do is we have to we have to delete that record, because if the quantity is 0, then we have to delete that product in cart record from that cart, so that it is not displayed on the front side. So we have to delete that record here, which I have done here, delete. So, and also I've used a get object function to get that particular object which is retrieved from the primary key which we have passed in the URL in update cart. So this is the endpoint here, update cart, and we are also passing a primary key here, so we can uniquely identify from database. As you can see here in list products, in display cart page, we have mentioned here the primary key here from i.product in cart id, so as to uniquely identify that record, and then we will delete that record. And if there is a status code of some, because here 302 means here success, but if it's a failure, like if there is some error in the quantity field, as we have checked the validation done by this form, then it will render a error in quantity, because it may be possible that user enters something like float field or something like char field in this quantity field, which is not possible. So if I write 5.6, then what will happen is it will render me a error, which is error in quantity. And if I enter a 0 value here, then what will happen is it will delete that record from database. So see, it has been removed from cart table. And if I add here any string value, then also it will generate a error, which is error in quantity. So this is how it's working, and I hope it works for you as well. So generally this is not how we handle the update quantity field. We generally give a select input field in which options are given, but currently we are not implementing it by that way, because we want to implement the update view. So that's why I implemented this in this way, so that there is an input field where the user can enter the quantity field and just update that field in the record. So now let's proceed further to delete view. Like if you want to delete a specific record from the cart, then what you have to do is use the delete from cart view, which is in which I have inherited the class called delete view. And if I go to ccbb.co.uk and open its delete view, then you can access all its features and functionalities here, like all the attributes mentioned here and all the functionalities here. So basically this works using post request. So we have to make a post request here to this endpoint. So what we have to do is we have to mention a model from which we have to delete that record, and also we have to mention a success URL. And in delete view also you have to mention a primary key in the URL, so that Django backend can uniquely identify that record from database and delete it respectively. So for that I have used a URL like this, path delete from cart, and I have also mentioned a primary key here so as to uniquely identify from database. And then I have put a name here, delete from cart, and then in views.py I have mentioned as success URL equals to reverse lazy display cart. So basically what it is doing is it just finds the unique record from database as we have passed the primary key, and just delete that record using a delete method as we have showed here, delete method here. Okay, so it's functioning like this only. And what we have done in display cart, we have made a form, separate form here, which is this. So here also we have used a post method, and here in action we have used URL delete from cart, and we have provided the primary key as the same as we have provided in the update cart as well. So, and then we have made a button here with a name called delete. So now if I do this, like if I make a request of delete, then what will happen is it will remove it from cart table. So now the cart has no record, so that's why it's showing me an empty cart. So how we have made this empty cart is like this. In this method, in display cart, I have made a for loop, and before ending the for loop I have used an empty tag here, so which generates empty cart, this heading, if only if our for loop, if this cart object that we have rendered from backend is empty, only then this message will be displayed here. So this is how you can implement this. So I think we have covered all the views here. Like we have implemented the list view, detail view, then we have implemented update view, and we have also implemented the delete view. And also I have made a function based view here for add to cart. which is a very customized view. So, and in which I have used a login required decorator as well. And other views I have used a login required mixin for a class based view. So this is how we implemented this whole functionality. So I also have to add a login required mixin here. So this is all that we have to cover in this video. I was also trying to make a video on OTP verification as well, but I had also made that video, but later found out that there are more ways possible to handle that situation. So that's why I wanted the video to be complete. So I will be posting that video very soon. So stay tuned. So if you like the way I represented this content in this manner, like in this language, then do tell me in comment section box. So what will I do is I will continue making videos in English only, and I will also make long marathon videos respective to each playlist covering each and every topic. So do tell me in comment section box. And if you like the video, do hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel for these point to point and full and complete videos where I try to cover each and every test case possible. So stay tuned. See you next time. Thank you everyone.